let's rank everything I knit in 2025. Hi friends! Today I'm going to rank everything that I knit in 2025. So I actually started knitting late October in 2024. So this is my first full year of knitting, and yes, I started making sweaters, etc. from January this year. Before that, I'd only made accessories. So it's quite interesting seeing my progression throughout the year. And I like to take a look back and see what items I've been wearing lots, which not so much. So yes, let's get to it, and we'll be ranking on a score of S tier to F tier. The first item that I knit back in January was the Step by Step sweater by Florence Miller, and it is really nice of Florence to put a full tutorial for people who want to knit their first sweater up on YouTube, and I found it really good to follow, really straightforward. And I even did like the short rows and everything because she explained it so well. I thought I might as well do it properly. So yes, I also used Noro Tennen, which was the yarn that she used, and I really liked it. It is like a variegated size, so that's kind of interesting. But overall, it gives this kind of tonal effect, and I really like it. And you've probably noticed I did a bit of duplicate stitching because I also wanted to learn that. And what I did was take like a print that I'd seen online and put it into Stitch Fiddle and tweaked it a bit to make it look like the medieval letter K. I kind of wish I went for a slightly darker colour, and also I think it's maybe a bit too thick for the Noro Tennen yarn. I think I didn't fully understand yarn sizes and things like that back then. So yeah, I'm not sure if I should redo it or not, but I still get a fair amount of use out of it, and it's not super warm, so it's kind of a nice autumn spring transitional piece. The length is good, the sleeve length is good, and it kind of hides cat hair well, so that's a plus. So I'm going to give this an A, even though I would change the duplicate stitching if I could be bothered. Other than that, it's, yeah, good and great for a first sweater, I think. So I'm very happy with it. By the way, the Noro Tennen yarn colorway was number 3, which is called Wood. Next up, I knit the Harriet Bonnet by Milena Juhola. I think it's a really fun pattern to do, and I really like the shape of everything. I can't remember if it said to do I-cord for the straps, but I've just done straight stockinette by the looks of it. And I like the fit of it. I like most of the things about it, except the color combination. I think, I mean, it looks good with this top in particular, but I don't know, like it's not much of a contrast, and I kind of wish I'd done like navy and burgundy or something a bit jazzier, perhaps. But I wear it sometimes, but not as much as my other winter hood that I'll be showing you in a few items' time. But I don't know. I think I would give this a C tier because, yes, I really like how it looks, but just because of the colors, it doesn't really go with my coats and stuff, and maybe it just kind of washes me out. I don't know. Yeah, I have this on my list to try to reknit it, I think, in a different colorway. But let me know what you think. I knit it with Drops Air, by the way, which is one of my favorite yarns for accessories. Like, it's really soft and warm and cheap as well. So yeah, I have no complaints about the yarn itself, just the color. I'm a big fan of hoods, but again, this one doesn't have the inbuilt scarf. So pairing it with a scarf is another problem. And like when it's cold enough to wear a hat, it's generally cold enough to wear a scarf. So I'm also stuck there. So yes, C tier for this one. The next big item is the Willowwood Sweater by Caitlin Hunter. Sorry for the cat hair. As you can see, it doesn't hide so much on this one. But it's quite a big undertaking for me as a beginning knitter because I had to learn to do the colour work and also the bobbles. So that was fun. I did do a practice swatch in the round to just do this, and I think it's a really good first colour work sweater pattern because it's such like a simple geometric shape. I've done more complicated, less easy to remember color work since then, so this was a good place to start. I would say the collar's not perfect, but when it comes to the fit, it was exactly the length I wanted it to be. Like I did quite a lot of research on the Ravelry notes to figure it out. And likewise, people were saying to size up for the color work, which I did. And I'm glad I did. In the end, it was a perfect fit. My only complaint is that it's like so unique with the sleeves and such, it can be hard to style, but I still wear it quite a lot. And for that reason, I'm going to give it A tier. The yarn was Valley Yarn Northampton. Yeah. Which I like, but it does pill a lot. Like I've de-pilled this the other day, but it's really hard to de-pill on bobbles. Like the pills get stuck in between. But I'll have to see, since de-pilling, will it repill to that level again? Hopefully not. It is like a really soft yarn and it's the right level of warmth where you don't get too hot, but it definitely still keeps you warm. And I really like the kind of heathering color. Like if you look, there's quite a lot of multi-tones in there. Um, it's less noticeable on the light color, but yeah, I think I really wanted the sweater to look how it did in the promo photo. And with this yarn, I think I was able to achieve that. So I'm very happy. And yes, I think A tier is fair for that. Now, when I mentioned the hood that I actually wear on an almost daily basis in winter, it has to be the Sophie Hood by Petite Knit. It took longer than I thought to knit it because it looks so simple, but I guess it's just so long that it still took, I don't know, a week or a few days more perhaps. But yeah, I really like the fact that it is both a scarf and a hat in one, and I like that I can tie a bow. But yeah, I think having longish hair it like adds a layer of insulation, so despite it just being one layer of fabric, it does actually feel a lot warmer than some beanies that I have. So I can't not give this S tier because I wear it so much. And yeah, even though my brother likes to joke that I look like a babushka, I think it's really useful. And like you can take the hood down if you just want to wear it as a scarf, if you get a bit warm, and then you just have to pull the hood up. So yeah, really good. The pattern was a bit confusing at the time because I hadn't done any I-cords before this, but I feel like if I went back to it now, it would, yeah, be fairly straightforward. So this is also drops there and it's holding up well. I didn't know how to do mattress stitch back then, so I kind of just seamed as I would do by hand. And I think because it's drops there, it's quite forgiving, so you can't really see the seam. I've got hat hair now. So back in March, I decided I wanted a lightweight cardigan for my holiday to Japan. So it couldn't be too warm and it needed to be something I could carry like in a tote bag and be really lightweight. And I'm a big fan of diamonds, like diamond shaped things, or harlequin print. So yes, I found this free pattern, which is really cool, on the Filcolana website called the Crispin Cardigan. And this was my first cardigan, so it was knitted flat. And yeah, I enjoyed it. It took quite a while because I had to follow a chart, and it's made using knits and pearls. But I've wore this so much over like the spring and summer and autumn. Just having a lightweight cardigan is really useful. And although I did make a mistake with the button spacing, I don't think it looks too bad. I did use these pretty mother of pearl buttons, which are really nice. Lots of blues and browns. And I'm going to have to give this a nest here. So it is also with drops there. You can see a theme with that. I think I bought too much when I first placed my first order for drops there, and I still have lots left over as well. But so it's a good thing I like it. Quite a lot of my knits around this time, I thought I was doing an Italian bind off, but you can see there's actually no stretch, but it's not really a problem because it's a slightly oversized item anyway. But yeah, since then I've learned how to do the Italian bind off properly. So that is the only thing that I would do differently, I think, if I had to redo this. Around this time, I also wanted to learn how to do filet crochet. So the first item I did was with the Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, which is kind of like stretchier than I thought it would be. So I didn't wear this a lot, but I think it is cute. Just, I don't know, maybe, I think if you wear it as like a headscarf like this, then it's better. But if it was a cotton headscarf, you kind of want more structure. But yeah, so I only wore it for a few days, and I don't know, it's okay. So I think I'm going to give it a C tier. Maybe I'll wear it more next summer. But it did teach me how to do filet crochet at like a bigger gauge than the other items that I was ready to do more complex items. So for that it was useful. And I do like the picot stitching at the ends. That's nice. This yarn overall, it's kind of papery feeling. I don't love it. It's okay. I think for the price I would prefer to use some other summer yarns. Okay, so this brings us on to April, and in April I spent most of it knitting the Amy Slipover, which is a pattern by Sadness Garn. There's a few problems with the pattern itself. You have to buy the booklet to get it, and to buy the booklet you have to buy the yarn from a Sadness Garn retailer. And then I also didn't realize it only comes in one size, and if you can see, like in the stock photo, it looked like quite an oversized fit. So the final result is not as oversized as I thought it would be. And obviously this is not one size fits most. I think it will fit a very narrow range of bodies. So I really think they need to kind of re-update the pattern with some more inclusive sizes. But I do like the fabric that it's produced, despite it being a bit itchy, just like it feels really nice and expensive. And I like how there's all the different textures. But ultimately, when I finished knitting this, I really did not like it because it kind of bulked at the neck, because I don't think there were many short rows on the back perhaps, or there just isn't enough shaping because it's one size to like accommodate a bust. So yeah, Since then I have found a few ways to wear it, and it is itchy on the neck, but I do really like this matcha green colour, and it is my only slipover. The ties, a lot of people say it's so annoying to do, which is correct. It goes on forever, but I love bows, so having something that I can tie into a bow is always a plus. So I'm gonna give it a B tier because I do wear it, not factoring in the fact that the pattern is not size inclusive at all, just purely on the wearability of the item. I'll give this a B. It's really hard to show without getting it tangled everywhere. But yeah, it's like a slip like this, and then a very large turtleneck. And yeah, it does feel itchy. I'm not the biggest lover of mohair, like I really like how it looks, but just on like the neck and chest, it is too itchy. But I can wear it, I just have to suffer through it. So in May we went on our big holiday to Japan, and I did bring some works in progress, but I did very little knitting. Like I was very tired and just rushing around from A to B and having too much fun. So I did not complete anything in May. By June I was like desperate to knit something in butter yellow. So I chose to knit the Clara collar cardigan by maybe the label. And you can see I did not end up keeping the collar. I go into more details in my last knitting podcast about why, but I think it's really cute and I'm very happy with it. People have suggested sewing up the buttonholes to make it a bit tighter because I was really keen on using these vintage buttons and they're just a bit too small for the buttonholes. But I haven't got around to doing that, but that's on me. I wear it quite a lot. It's very warm. It has the alpaca drop silk and drops fiesta held together. It's meant to be a sock yarn, which is why it's kind of variegated in this way, and it's ended up pooling in a few places in interesting ways that I like. But it's definitely like giving spring and Easter, so I won't be wearing it this winter very much, I don't think. But as soon as the sun starts shining a bit more and get in the mood for Easter, this is perfect for that. What am I going to rate this? I think I'm gonna give it a B for now, just because I haven't worn it as much as some of my other knits, and I really like the details of the braids on the sleeves and things like that, but it is more, the colour is nice but just not very practical for the whole year round, and I haven't got around to fixing those buttonholes. So yes, I think B tier for this one. So it was starting to get too warm to want to knit with really woolly, heavy balls of yarn, so I started to do more filet crochet. So the first big piece I did was this swan. I wasn't sure if I was going to turn it into a top, but the cotton itself is kind of too rough to wear, I think. So I've kind of just been using it as a decorative piece that I throw over my like footstool. I took a few vintage filet crochet charts and merged them together and added a few things to kind of make one square piece, and I think it's pretty. It was fun to do, and getting used to the smaller hook, not needle, was again a useful project. What do I give this? I guess a B tier because I was hoping to make it into clothing, but it's just like quite scratchy and I wouldn't know how to make this into something because it's just a square, but I do keep it out as a decorative piece. So yeah, B tier. The next item, I don't actually know if I still have it. It's the Stella top, and it kind of drove me mad trying to figure out the cast on for this. I hated working with the yarn. I thought it was all cotton yarns, but I've since worked with a nicer one. So yeah, this is Drop Saffron, and it was just too drying for my hands, too like hard and yeah, not pleasant for me. I know people like different yarns, so not saying you shouldn't use it, but yeah, I wasn't a fan. The pattern was confusing. There were really important things missing, I think, like saying how to size down for the ribbing. Like if you'd have just followed the pattern, it would have been way too big. And even though I sized down, I think it should have been sized down more. The armholes are too tight. The torso wasn't long enough. I increased it by quite a lot and it was still too cropped for compared to the example, I think. So I don't know where this is because I think it's at the bottom of my closet somewhere. I'm going to give this an F. I don't think I'm going to wear it again. It was a good learning experience, I suppose, and I at least know not to use this kind of yarn again. So I think I've learnt some important summer knit things from this. I'm going to be trying cotton merino, I think, this year. If I do any summer knitting, if I'm brave enough to try again, because I really do like wearing tank tops and it would be nice if I could knit my own. So yeah, this one was a fail, but to be fair, it was my only fail of the year. Now in August, I did a rather unusual summer knit, which is the Tanzanite shorts. I was kind of going for a bloomer look that I wanted to wear under big t-shirts for the music festival I was going to. I really like this yarn that I used. It's the Cedar Cashmere Merino. There's like 5% cashmere in it, but it is really soft and silky, and I think the stitch definition's good for cabling. I'm completely not getting the camera there. Yeah, and it was my first time doing cables, so the fact there was just 2 cables on the front and 2 on the back on the whole project, I think it's a really good beginner's cabling project for that reason. And yeah, the whole time I was like, oh, cabling is not as difficult as I thought it would be. Like I was really intimidated by the idea of doing cables, but really it's just putting a few stitches on hold either in the front or the back and then continuing knitting and then going back to that those stitches that you've put on hold. So yeah, if you're afraid of cables, I think like why not do a swatch just to give it a try, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. This does not have much wearability, like it's really hard to style some knitted bloomer shorts, and like when would I wear it in real life? I'm not sure. I guess when it's a really cold day I could wear it under a dress, but I haven't been so far. Like I'd really like to think of more ways to wear them, but yeah, I just so far have worn it for that one outfit, which is kind of sad. But I did learn cabling. I'm gonna give them a C. And if you can think of other ways to style it, let me know. For the music festival, I also did my most complicated filet crochet piece, which was my Dungeons and Dragons character who's a tiefling barbarian, and I modified a old filet crochet pattern of Joan of Arc, I think, to look like my Dungeons and Dragons character because I wanted to dress up as her for the music festival. And I finished just in time, like the night before. It took a long time because it was a really tiny hook, and I'm pleased with the result. It just about fit on the waistcoat, the vintage waist jacket thing that I had to hand sew because it was so thick, because it was lined with fake fur. But I'm really happy with it. I can wear it to Dungeons and Dragons, to our weekly D&D sessions if I can be bothered to dress up. So I'm going to give it an A. It's not exactly going to be a staple piece in my wardrobe, but it's fun and good to have. and I'm proud that I did it. I've temporarily misplaced it. It's probably hanging up in my wardrobe somewhere, but I do have this footage from when I tried it on earlier last year. So in September, I was preparing for the eventuality that it would get cold, and I decided to knit a long skinny scarf. I wanted to use this green yarn that I'd bought in Japan, which was by the brand Diamond Yarn, I think it's called. It has a lot of like sparkly fibers in it, green and pink. So I kind of took that and made this skinny scarf that has stripes on the side. I like the scarf itself. I like that I used the drops there around the neck so that it's soft and comfortable. The problem is, I don't actually like the yarn combo. I think it's this shade of pink that I had all this yarn for, and for some reason I keep using it in projects despite not liking it. Like, it's really quite a grey pink. And again, I don't really have a hood or a hat that goes well with this. So I've worn it a couple of times. I'm not really sure if I can be bothered to make a hat that will go with this. I don't know. I do like the overall design that has the stripes on either side and the alternating colours. Again, I just wish I did this in colours that I wear more often in winter. It's kind of my springtime palette is more green and pinks. So I'm going to give this a C. I enjoyed knitting it. It's a colour problem again. Now, also in September, I knit the Rosie Sweater, which has to be my all-time favourite knit so far. I really like the colours I chose. It's a slightly different from the example in that it's a creamier, brighter white, and the brown is darker and multi-tonal. I used the recommended Sadness Gone Tin Pigment, but I switched out the mohair because in the Amy Slipover I used the Pigment mohair and that was the itchy one. So I looked around to try to find out what the softest one is. A lot of people were saying that Isaga silk mohair, and in the ball it is so soft. Knitted up, it's still very soft, like to the hand, but it does tickle my neck, and I think that's just a mohair thing. It will tickle a bit, but it's not itchy. So in that regards, it's an improvement. And I just love this so much. I'm really a big fan of floral things, a floral print, and especially roses. I wear this all the time. I probably wear it too much for like how nice the yarn is. Like, it probably should be a special occasion sweater, but yes, this has to be S tier because it's my favorite. I wear it loads. If I lost it, I would re-knit it for sure. I don't think I said the pattern's by Lynette, and I like a lot of her other designs too, so I probably will knit something else from her. In October, I wanted to bring a small project with me on our holiday to Turkey, and I wanted to knit a beanie because I hadn't knit one yet, and I had the idea to do a triple fold beanie because I get really cold ears, so I thought if I was going to have a beanie that should be warm enough, then I'll do a triple folded one. So I did the Cassiopeia hat, and I do really like the design. It has little cables, which were fun to do. I just think my yarn choice was not perfect for this. I think the wool was superwash, so it's like a bit bigger than I thought it would be, and I don't think it suits me. Like, I don't know. It's also not as warm because it's not rustic, like fuzzy wool. Like, it kind of feels cool, like a merino. But it is a nice looking yarn. Like, I really love the colours and the speckles, but yeah, it just wasn't what I hoped. and I don't really wear it. I kind of think I'll give it to my husband if he's interested. I think it's more of his style. Yeah, and I can't give it a bad rating. I have worn it a bit and like I really like the cables. I'm gonna give it a C. I think that's fair. Hair again. So in late October, we were definitely into thick sweater weather, and I knit the Moinear Sweater, which is this cute floral circular yoke design. I'm super happy with how this turned out. I've mentioned before, but it was inspired by the Pokemon Vileplume, and I really like the colors. Like, I wear a lot of navy, and this shade of pink suits me a lot better than that kind of pale grey pink that I mentioned before. It is very jazzy, and the yarn does pill a lot. That is my biggest complaint, I think. So it was the Filcolana Peruvian yarn. And it was so like my favorite yarn to work with in that it was so soft and really easy to splice together. There's a lot of pluses and a few negatives on this one. It was a super quick knit. Sweater wise, this probably was my fastest sweater as it is worsted weight, and I suppose once you're done with the collar work, it's just stockinette for the rest of it apart from the sleeves. I'm gonna give this an A because I really like it. It's one of my favorite sweaters, but not my most favorite. And I don't know, I think it could have been an S if it didn't pill so much. I'm gonna see now I've given it a proper depilling. Again, will it actually pill up more? I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm kind of just rambling. I'm gonna give this an A. Now my latest big completed finished object is the Korsvika Jacket in this cute brick orange colour. I love the buttons so much. Like, they're actually made of bone, and then these cute spirals. And I think it just gives the jacket so much personality. The sleeves were a bit of a nightmare on this. I had to redo them because they were just ending up way too big. I did the short rows, which it did mention were optional, but that was just ending up, the sleeves would have already been too long. And I knew when it was blocked, it was going to grow. Even now, like, maybe the sleeves are a bit long for my preference, but if it wasn't for the sleeves, these would be like a perfect knitted jacket. It's like so warm, which is great and exactly what you want. The sleeves have enough room to wear something underneath it, even if you wanted to wear another knitted sweater. And the collar is like my favorite bit, but I think it drops down a bit more because of the weight of the yarn than I thought it would. I thought it would sit more higher up. Yeah, I still think it's A tier though, because I wear it so much. That's kind of the most important thing, isn't it? Like, does it actually get used? Yes, because I like the colour and it works with a lot of my outfits and the buttons as well. So yeah, that's another A tier item. December was mostly spent doing gift knits, just like a few small pieces here and there. So I did a mini Christmas jumper using the mini crop puff pattern, and I enjoyed doing this. It was, yeah, just a few hours till completion, and I did a bit of duplicate stitching. I think I messed up a bit just because I kind of free-handed it and the stitches were so small, but I think hopefully you can tell it's the letter B and the recipient liked it, so yeah, I'm going to give this an A as well. The twill pot holder by Pearl Soho. This was a knit I did for my mum for a present, and it took so long. Like, it was very difficult to set up and it was very repetitive, but it just seemed to go on forever. I really like the finished item though. The onion cotton yarn, I said the drop saffron, I was really not impressed, but this onion cotton yarn I would definitely use again. Like, it's really silky feeling, and it actually has like a sheen to it on the finished item. And I'm not saying I'll make a whole top out of it, but I guess I would knit another pot holder next year. And this pattern took so long, but that's kind of the nature of the fabric. I like the yarn and the color combo. I'm gonna have to give it a B tier, purely on enjoyability, I think. So that is everything that I knit pretty much in 2025. There's a few works in progress that I didn't quite finish on time that I'm carrying over, and it will be very interesting to see how much I knit this year. I've already started some socks because I didn't do a single pair. But let me know which item I made was your favourite and what item you knit was your favourite this year. Well, this last year. I'm also about to record my New Year's knitting resolutions, which kind of tie in to everything I've made. I'm about to record those as well, and you can watch that here. Interestingly, one of them is that I'm hoping to knit just a little bit less next year. Thank you so much for watching today. I really appreciate it, and I hope you'll subscribe if you have enjoyed this video. I hope you had a lovely festive period and a happy new year to you all. Thank you. Bye bye.